real quick, because we have this as breaking news.
Uh-oh.
The Cardinals starting lineup. I'm not going to do it as
why not?
As Alex, because I just want to do it quickly.
Do you feel like that's not a good bit?
It is. I'll get back to it, but we're in the middle of something else. But I don't want to overdo it because I tend to beat a dead horse. When it's short, Carlson, center field, Yepez, DH. They're at the Mets, by the way. Burleson at first base, Motter at third base, Gomez right field. Kisner, who had a hit and 2 walks yesterday, is up to 100 on the spring. I just wanted to update you. Robertson at second base, Victor Scott in left field. So the guy
facing, by the way, Justin Verlander.
Who's that?
Justin Verlander. Why aren't you pitching for Team USA, buddy?
Why is he over here? What's he doing? I don't like that. You need to be leading the charge.
Well, because.
Yeah, that.
I mean, you have a career.
Does he make $46 million a year?
Still gets that money from Steve Cohen.
Be where that bread's getting buttered. The thing I like about that lineup is Burleson at first, because that was one of the big questions I had when Goldschmidt was going to be gone. Is what are they going to do there? I mean, Luke and Baker had a good game there. I mean, you look at him for a little while, but I like that.
Yepez.
Well, I like that they're giving other options away, though. Like, I mean, Yepez is obviously the one who came up in the system and was there, too. But I want to see ways for Burleson to, be in the lineup.
Don't get me wrong.
Things like that.
I like Burleson a lot, but I think Yepez has earned more of a look than him. And it might be a numbers game for Yepez, but when he's called upon to be somewhere else, I want Yepez's bat in the lineup, and first base seems like a good spot for him. He's not a great. Yeah, he's working on it. He's not a great defender.
So who's your opening day DH right now? Because I think that's where the opportunity comes in to see kind of the race for who's not the extra guy,
right?
But
Pitcher, who are they facing?
They're going to probably be facing Alek Manoah, right-hander for the Blue Jays.
And Gorman is my DH.
So you're running Gorman.
Carlson sits day one.
Probably, unless he.
No, I mean that's probably going to happen.
Probably, but I mean there's a lot of things that can transpire before now and then that could change that decision. Like right now, I would say with Walker, he has made the team if it ended today, but it's not ending today, so we'll see.
Still got about 2.5 weeks.
The other thing, too, Yepez is just as good against righties as he is lefties. So if it is a right-handed pitcher every time, I don't think Gorman should go in by default. I think they should get a good 50-50 split.
Yeah, I think. Spot. And we were talking about Burleson versus Yepez. You also got to say, look, Burleson, I'm not saying he's not going to be a good major league player. I think he will be. But he hasn't proved it yet at all. And Yepez was really good in a short period of time, about half a season.
That's my point.
Yepez was good. Plus, he hit he had the biggest hit of the postseason for the Cardinals, which should have won them that game right there. And, Matty, it's funny, you brought up earlier, can you name anybody on the Oakland A's? And every time I think of Alec Burleson, I think of a guy who's going to end up on the Oakland A's.
Oh,
I just
think
feel
that's
like,
where his future's
at? The whole deal with the Sean Murphy trade, which didn't happen, I just felt like Alec Burleson was going to be in that package if it happened. And down the road, I just see Alec Burleson as a guy who's moved. I'm not saying this year. I'm just saying eventually.
When you look at your Cardinals' futures, obviously, Walker's leading the charge in the outfield. I think Carlson's the now. I'm not looking at him as like future stocks at this point, but that's the thing I look at. I look at how does Gomez fit into that? How's a guy like Joshua Baez, who's down the road, some fit into that? There's a lot to push for there, and I think if you're going to deal from anywhere on the team right now, it's got to be from what you've got in that space.
And you have a lot of. Now, calling them fringe guys, I'm not trying to use that as a pejorative, but the folks you mentioned, those guys have a lot of control, by the way. O'Neill's the only one who's a mainstay the last couple of years, and he still has 2 years left. But Walker hasn't even started his clock.
He's got 2 years left after this year? Or
Tyler O'Neill has 2 years, including this year, of control.
Okay.
But I'm saying Jordan Walker has at least 6. Dylan Carlson has what? 4? Lars Nootbaar. These guys have a lot of control, and they're the ones I think that are leading the charge to be starting outfielders. If they all hit, those guys are going to be your starting outfield, you would think, for the next 2, 3, 4 years. Now, barring injury, but I mean, those guys are young.
Jordan Walker's upside makes you feel better about that situation. Him being a part of that helps out. There's a lot of folks that are at that window where they got to prove it, though, in that outfield. I think Nootbaar still's got some room to go, and he's showing well this spring, regardless of where he's at. Tyler O'Neill, I think, is going to be a numbers game guy. I mean, he's the one that I see probably having the quicker road out. But so much still sits on what Carlson does and about whether he's going to turn into the guy that he was billed to be coming up. I mean, this spring has not been a rousing endorsement for that the way that he's been so far. But the spring isn't the end all be all either.
What did you say about O'Neill?
I think he's the one that just based on how much contract he's got left, and also if you look at someone who could raise their stock with a strong season. I mean, in the injury pass he's got, I would think that if the Cardinals were going to look to be open to business on anybody, it would be Tyler O'Neill.
I get
agree.
that. I just think he's got so much of an upside. He's proven more than the other guys to this point.
Agreed.
I also think, and maybe this is going too far with this, but in terms of his tools, I mean, he can do stuff some of the other guys can't.
If he hits the way that he can,
if he plays,
it's one of the biggest ifs. Like it's a way bigger if he's healthy and plays the amount of games that you need to play than even if Dylan Carlson becomes this or if Newbar continues doing that. It's all an if with O'Neill, and I think that's what makes it uncertain to deal with him. But if he's going to be a guy that's going to push for 30 home runs and play the way he does and play center field, that's a huge upside.
I think also with the Cardinals, if they have a young guy and they like that player, they usually try to sign one of those team-friendly contracts where you buy out the arbitration years and potentially a year or two or more. The Cardinals would want more in free agency. And I think with Tyler O'Neill, you weren't able to do that for many different reasons. Inconsistency and also injury. So I just look at him, like at this point, if Tyler O'Neill has a really, really good 2023. If you're him, do you all of a sudden sign that deal with the Cardinals, or do you bet on yourself and go, well, now I only have a year left. I'm going to do it again and hit free agency. And then the Cardinals probably don't win that bid.
I could see the Cardinals potentially looking at that contract situation and getting the upside of what he's done and see him in another situation like Bader.
That's what I'm saying. And Bader was traded. If Tyler O'Neill were to be traded this year at the deadline, it would be the same timeline as Bader. Year and a half of control left.
Yeah.
And probably looking at a guy in Bader, I'm sure they had the talks with Bader, and they said this guy probably wants to hit free agency. And you also remember with O'Neill, I'm not saying that this will dictate everything in the negotiations, but you went to arbitration last year, and it wasn't fun for either party. And he didn't play well.
Well, when you bring up contracts, too, and you talk about what you get back in that deal, I know that we spent a lot of time coming into the spring talking about who could be an extension candidate this year and what would that look like. And, we've gone through camp and haven't seen, much come to shape for that yet. Do you still think that there could be some extensions that come out of this spring for the team as they try to get things sorted out going into the year?
Yes. I think Miles Michaelis, I think there will be an extension soon after he returns from the World Baseball Classic. And I also think, you guys may chuckle, but I would not be surprised if there's a Paul Goldschmidt extension.
We got two more years on the...
Two more years.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see that. I would say Michaelis is more likely, but I wouldn't be shocked by any of it. And Tyler O'Neill, by the way, he's played, 2 games for Team Canada? He went 4 for 4, then 1 for 2 or something like that. He's 1 for 3 maybe. He's showing well internationally in a small sample size. There's certain guys that I just feel really good about. Tyler O'Neill's one of them. Zach Thompson's another one. And obviously
Kisner.
Jordan Walker. And then, of course, Kisner, because he's doing all the little things right. Kisner right now, his numbers might not jump out at you.
Hitting the ball hard.
But
potentially.
He's doing all the little things.
We're rooting for him.
Number one priority.